Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q2 FY22 earnings conference call of SP Apparels hosted by Batlivala and Karani Securities Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touchtone telephone. Please note that this conference has been recorded. I now hand the conference over to Ms. Prerna Jhunjhunwala from Batlivala and Karani Securities Private Limited. Thank you and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jacob. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of B&K Securities, I would like to welcome you all to Q2 FY22 post-result conference call of SP Apparels Limited. From the company, we have with us the senior management, including Mr. P. Sundararajan, Chairman and Managing Director of the company, Mrs. S. Lata, Executive Director, Mr. S. Chenduran, Director, Mrs. P.V. Jiva, CEO, and Mr. V. Balaji, CFO of the company. I would now like to hand over the call to Mr. P. Sundararajan for the initial comments. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm greetings to all of you who are present on the call to discuss our quarter 2 FY22 performance. I hope and wish that all of you and your loved ones are healthy and safe. Most of our divisions have performed well during this quarter. This sustainability and experience gained during this period of the business will take us to new height. Let's discuss about segment-wise performance. Regarding garment division, shipments to customers increased both in terms of quarter-on-quarter and year-on-year. Our customers are witnessing increase in demand and specifically on the online retailing business. We are experiencing high demand situation despite increase in raw material cost and supply chain disturbances. In terms of customers, we have added one new customer from Gulf, who is one of the big retailers, and one more customer is in pipeline, and will soon update you all on the new addition of the customer. I would like to update you on our strategy in increasing the utilization level by aggressive sourcing and training of workmen, which is now yielding better results. This workforce mobilization is no longer a challenge for the company and it will add as an additional strength to our business. As I explained to you in the last call, we are yet to start our second shift process and will slowly but surely will look to utilize the capacity with second shift operations. Our current order book stands at rupees 313 crores. Our garment division revenue for this quarter stood at rupees 183 crores versus 148 crores for Q2 FY21, which is at a growth of 23.8% year-on-year. First half total revenue stood at rupees 299 crores as against rupees 197 crores for H1 FY21 at a growth of 51.6%. Adjusted EBITDA of the garment division stood at rupees 36 crores for the current quarter against adjusted EBITDA of 28 crores for Q2 FY21. Adjusted EBITDA of garment division for first half stood at rupees 68 crores versus adjusted EBITDA of rupees 34 crores for H1 FY21. Regarding spinning is fully being utilized and is yielding good margin, adding to the garment division's margin. Currently, we are in the process of expanding our spinning division by another 3,600 spindles, and the project is delayed by another 3 months. Once the project is completed, we will be at 27,000 spindles. We have also started outsourcing our yarn requirements by subcontracting on job work basis. Processing. With regard to the processing division, its utilization level has increased, but the division is undergoing stress due to price increase in coal, dyes and chemicals as well as supply chain cost escalation. We are working on an alternative mechanism to mitigate the price escalation in coal. With regard to SP Apparel's UK division, it has gained momentum during this quarter and expect the same kind of momentum to continue going forward. There has been challenges in this quarter due to container issue because of the increased cost of container and availability of containers. Revenue for the quarter stood at GBP 2.4 million as against GBP 1.1 million quarter on quarter. With regard to retail division, hope you are all aware about the shareholders' consent giving to transfer the retail operations into a new wholly owned subsidiary company. In our last call, we have updated on the rationale for moving the operation. The board has constituted a committee to identify the process and means in which operations will be shifted to the subsidiary company. The process could be either an asset transfer method or a slump sale as agreed by the board on that specific date. We are planning to move the operations of retail during Q4 of FY22. Retail division has done well during the current quarter and have a positive EBITDA. This being a disturbed quarter due to lockdown of malls and stores, we expect this quarter to be better both in terms of revenue and EBITDA. Current liquidity. Our liquidity position is strong and we have serviced all the debts up to date. We have strategized on the retail division and will work towards unlocking value for our retail division as well as our stakeholders. In garment division, we are working towards better utilization of capacities and increase in revenue by strategically having different verticals of business which will parallelly grow along with this business, and we are excited about the new verticals. Now I will request CFO to give an overview of the financials. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just to run through the performance of the company. On second quarter, we had a total revenue of 222 crores as against Q2 FY21 of 187 crores. We have a 37 crores of EBITDA, adjusted EBITDA for the current quarter as against 31 crores of EBITDA for Q2 FY21. We have a PBT of 31 crores as against 23 crores of PBT which was FY21. And we have a 23 crores of PAT as against 18 crores of PAT of Q2 FY21.
Sorry to interrupt. Sir, may we request you to speak louder or come closer to the phone as the volume is too low.
Okay now?
Yes. Could you please repeat the speech?
This revenue for this quarter stood at 223 crores as against 187 crores of revenue year on year. Adjusted EBITDA stood at 37 crores as against 31 crores, which is a growth of 21% year on year. PBT stood at 31 crores as against 23 crores year on year, which is at a percentage of 14%. That stood at 23 crores as against 18 crores of last year on year, with a 24% growth at 10.4% margin. On a half yearly basis, our revenue stood at 355 crores as against 247 crores year on year, which is at a growth of 44%. Our adjusted EBITDA stood at 65 crores as against 36 crores last half FY21 H1, which is at a growth of 80%, which is at an EBITDA margins of 18.5%. And our PBT stood at 48 crores as against 17 crores year on year, which is at an increase of 177%. Our PAT stood at 34 crores as against 12 crores, which is at 169% growth rate. Our garment division EBITDA stood at 20% as against 19% year on year. and ST UK margins stood at 3% as against 9% year-on-year. Retail margins stood at 3% as against 5% year-on-year. Our total debt for the current gross debt for the current 30th September stood at 189 crores. Net debt stood at 157 crores. All the other informations are available in the presentation, and we can take up the Q&A section. We can take up the Q&A section.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Chirag Lodhia from ValueQuest. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity and congratulations on great set of numbers. Sir, in the opening remarks, you mentioned that workforce mobilization is no more a challenge and we'll look to start second shift operation soon. So given this new set of information, what kind of peak turnover we can achieve and corresponding margins in garment division?
Yes, as I mentioned that this has been a challenge for us in the last few years of mobilizing the workmen. So that was one of the bottlenecks for our growth. So since this has been debottlenecked, and we are very confident that we will have an aggressive growth plan because no longer it's going to be a challenge to us. So definitely, we will be maintaining the same EBITDA margins, but the top line will be a growth. We have aggressive plans, we hopefully around 20% to 25% will be the growth. That's what we are planning to. So we are working towards that.
But can you help us understand, whenever you will be able to achieve that, what kind of peak sales, we can achieve with the given infrastructure and changes you have brought in?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
So basically what I'm trying to understand is what kind of peak sales we can achieve with the given set of infrastructure we have currently. So, and it is okay whenever you are able to, utilize it full.
Yeah, with the existing setup for next 2 years, we don't have any additional requirement of putting up new factories because we have enough capacity which has been underutilized because of this reason. So as I mentioned that we are working towards a growth of 20-25%. And hopefully it should happen.
So basically 900 to 1000 crore garment revenue, is it possible from the existing setup if we are able to utilize it fully?
Yeah, that is what I had during the interview in CNBC also I indicated that we are working towards about 1000 crores in the export sales account alone in the next financial year.
Right, and 20% margin is a sustainable margin going ahead given current circumstances.
We try to maintain that as much as possible.
Got it, sir. Got it. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ridesh Gandhi from Discovery Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Just had a question again on this similar line. So, of the 5100 actually machines we have capacity of, how much was actually utilized in Q2 of this year?
Close to around 63-64% because July and August we had some disturbances because the transportation was not fully allowed. So the utilization was close to around 63% for the whole second quarter.
Got it. So then if we just assume then effectively of the 5100 which is running on a one shifts, how many would we be able to run on a 2 shifts effectively? So I just want to get a sense on the effective capacity that we have and what the utilization was.
See, we have 5,100 sewing machines, and effectively we can use all these 5,100 machines. But in terms of, if you ask what will be the time frame or...
No, he's talking about shift wise. See, even if you start gradually the 2 shifts, so the capacity overall, normally we mention that capacity utilization for 1 shift only. So where we are currently utilizing about 70% plus. So as the things grow, anyway we will always have about 15-20% machines idle because of the fashion garment industry. Always we will have about 20% as a standby arrangement. So by adding 2 shifts in a gradual manner, so the utilization will go better, much better.
So if I can understand, then out of the 5,100 machines, we could potentially effectively run the equivalent of the 10,000, assuming 2 shifts which we have. Let's assume 20% idle capacity, so that gets to about 8,000. And effectively, we have used about 3,200 odd machines in Q2. So we can potentially double our revenues without doing any incremental capex. Obviously, this isn't going to happen just by FY23. But I'm saying, looking forward, we can double revenue without any capital expansion, which we need to do.
No, don't straight away just to multiply it by 2. See, because these 2 shifts cannot happen in all the factories. This can happen only in hostel factories. So hostel factories are only about 50% of the total capacity, wherein even in the hostel capacities on a gradual manner we will be increasing the number of shifts. So if over a period of about 2 years time, we will be able to use second shift about 50% of the hostel capacity. So it may not, it is not possible to simply double it.
So we still have the potential on just the existing capacity without incremental capex to effectively materially increase the revenues from where we are today.
Yeah, what we are trying to do is that we will try to use 5,100 machines fully by combining 1 shift and 2 shift factories put together. The utilization will go up to 100%. That's what we are trying to do.
Understood, sir. Sir, and just to understand, is the constraint between is the demand the constraint, or is it a labor requirement the constraint out here? And how are we looking at both of these to overcome the challenges in terms of labor?
See, all these years, as I have been repeatedly mentioning in all the con calls, that workforce mobilization was a big challenge to us, so which we have overcome now for sure. And so now we have to balance. Once the capacity increases, so now we have to look for new customers and additional business from existing and the new customers. So that goes on now. The cycle is completely going on now.
Got it. But on the demand side, is there? Is the increase in the demand which we are seeing, is it because of the China plus one, where its diversification incrementally is happening to India, or is it is it a larger orders from our existing customers which we are getting, or to increase capacity we'll have to effectively look for a new customer?
So it is both. See, because of these China issues, our existing customers want to consolidate more into India, so as to us also. And even new customers are coming to have, to balance the sourcing strategy, so they are also coming to India. So that will also happen. And in addition to that, our existing customers also doing the consolidation, so wherein they also want us to increase the capacity. The only challenge will be is the raw material cost. That is again, it's globally, universally for everyone. So there will be a slight pressure on the prices, but we should be able to manage it.
Got it. Understood, sir. Understood. So, and then so effectively, because what we're hearing from others also is that the existing customer demand is also extremely strong. So So we don't have an issue with regards to visibility of new orders. It's just about how to get the people available to sort of implement and execute.
Yes. So now I think since this capacity has been debottlenecked, so now we will be looking for more business from existing customers, and I don't see any problem in taking more orders from existing and new customers.
All right. Thank you, sir. That's all. All the best and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nilesh Doshi from Green Lantern Capital. Please go ahead.
Sir, thank you for taking my question. One is just to elaborate on the earlier discussion. You said that so next 2 years you don't require any capital expenditure except for some on the spindle side, but not on the garmenting side, and that can take you along with the utilization in the second shift to around, let's say, 1,000 crore kind of a revenue. So at what point of time over next 2 years the kind of feedback what you are getting from your customers in terms of higher requirement, they want to consolidate purchasing from you, at what point of time over next 2 years you would then think of additional capital expenditure and adding more on the garmenting line?
Yes. Basically your first question is about the capex. For 22-23 we don't see any major capex. But yes, for 24-25 there are possibilities that there will be a garment. In the garment division there will be some projects expected as the inflow of orders and the workmen are improving. So naturally that was the time we will be balancing both.
So my question is, sir, when you will really, because you will need an implementation time of about a year or so. So when actually you are foreseeing currently that you may start talking of capex on the drawing board?
That will happen on 23-24.
No, ma'am, that would be the facility coming up. I am saying implementation point of view.
Oh, implementation will be 24-25. No, it will be an ongoing project. I think Balaji will explain.
Achha, and for that, sure, Balaji, you can help me understand.
For any incremental revenue that comes for 23-24, your capex should be spent on 22-23. So what they are trying to say is that the revenue will come from 23-24. The capex could happen 6-7 months before.
Okay. And Balaji, can you share that what scale in terms of economic size now the new capex will happen? Like it's in the lots of 500 machines, or how does that work? Because I'm not very expert in that.
500 machines.
So any new factories which we put up should be close to 500 to 400 numbers, and it could cost us anywhere between 20 to 25 crores per factory.
And sir, any new factories, what you decide to put up, I think it will be based on the hostel concept, right, going forward?
What concept? Hostel. Yeah, we will not rule it out. There is always, we have understood that any factory should have a mix of both. Or maybe 100% hostel also is something which we will not rule out.
Sure. So second is on the feedback side when you are talking to your customers, what is the kind of visibility and what is the kind of potential they are talking over the next couple of years from us?
Yes, see, the visibility is that, as I told you, that they want consolidation of their existing factories, whether it is out of India or within India. So we are the preferred, one of the most preferred vendors for our customers. So any consolidation happens, the major chunk will come to us only. So we don't see any hurdles, in getting the order inflows.
Yeah, so in terms of a little longer term mission statement within the company, are we talking of 1,500 crore kind of a garmenting revenue by 2025 around?
Yeah, I cannot comment on the numbers, But as I said, 20 to 25% growth, that's what we are working, we are planning for. With all probabilities, if that happens in the next 5 years' time, why it should not happen to 2,000 crores?
That's nice, sir. And sir, in the last call, you were talking about addition of few more very large customers. So can you just elaborate on that? What is the status now and how things are unfolding?
Actually, we are trying on that, and two of our customers is almost through. So it will be through from December or January onwards. So that will be enough for the next year sale. So for next year, beginning from May onwards, we will be looking for one or two more customers for 23-24. So we are working on that, and the new customer will be through within 2 months' time.
So when, ma'am, you say through means we start getting orders and deliveries.
Yeah, we'll start getting the orders.
Yeah. And so the last question, if you can help us understand what's happening on that UK business, and you were also wanting to expand a similar model in US. So can you share what is the current status and how are you seeing that unfolding?
I don't think I ever mentioned that even US we will have a different same model, but we have it in the mind. But that's too early to comment anything on that. But the UK. The UK business, the UK division is definitely going very, very strong. And because of this COVID, there's logistics issues and other issues, they were not able to deliver the goods on time. So there has been a small setback in the sales, but the order book, none of the orders have been cancelled by our customers of the UK division. So I think once if everything is settled now in this 21-22, 23-24, our plans are to make a big jump in the UK division. And once it is streamlined, probably we will think of the similar model for the US also.
Okay. And so UK business over next 3 years, how big, what kind of potential we have, how big it can be? Can it reach to something like 30 million pounds or so?
No, already you're talking about our SP UK division, right?
Yeah, only UK division.
We are already doing 7 million.
We will end up anywhere between 9 to 10 million this year, and we look to
a growth of 20%,
20-25% every year. It should easily cross 30 million in next 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Sure, sir, and all the best. Thank you for taking my question.
Thank you. The next question from the line of Deepan Sankara Narayan from Trustline PMS. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks a lot for the opportunity, and congratulations for good set of numbers. So firstly, wanted to understand the reason for sharp reduction in EBITDA margin for this garment export division Q1. Q2 compared with Q1.
See, Q1 we had ROSCTL recognition of both Q4 and Q1. That is why there is an increase in the EBITDA margin in Q1.
Okay, so how much was that amount, sir? Exactly?
That was amount was around 4.5 crores.
Okay.
That is equivalent to 4.5%.
Okay, got it. And this current strong growth in government exports, so this was possible mainly from higher contribution from our existing customers, or also the incremental addition from newer customers also started coming?
No, it is only incremental revenue from the existing customers. If there is any new customer, we will definitely update investors accordingly.
No, I'm just asking, like in the last 6 months we have added couple of customers. So any scale up has happened in terms of orders from that customer?
Yeah, just now you mentioned it, right? It is going to be through, right?
It is going to be through, but for the past 6 months, there was no incremental revenue from the new customer.
Okay. Thanks a lot and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question from the line of Deepesh Agarwal from UTI AMC. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, team. Sir, congratulations for great set of number. Sir, my question is, on the garment margins or on the textile margins, how much would be the contribution from the yarn? And is there an element of the low-cost cotton inventory sitting with us?
So, in terms of margin, if you wanted to split between yarn price, yarn spinning margin and garment division, there could be close to around 4-5 crores of EBITDA margin sitting on the garment division's margin because of yarn.
Okay. Okay. And there is no element of low-cost cotton inventory which would have helped us in this quarter?
No, we have cotton procurement policies for every 3 months. Every 4 months we procure the cotton, so we don't speculate anything for a low-cost cotton or high-cost cotton. So it's on an average, it will average it out. That is how it works.
Understood. And sir, with the new, with these kind of PLI schemes, any further plans to get into any new line of business? Or some quarters ago you mentioned about customer keen for you to evaluate man-made fiber. So any thoughts on this?
Now, as I mentioned that there is a different vertical we are working on. So one vertical of business, additional vertical of business will happen after my visit to the UK, probably after 10 days time. So we will start, one by one as an additional vertical businesses in addition to existing setups. So that's our plan.
Okay. And last question, just a clarification. We are targeting 80% utilization on this 5100 machines next year, plus additional volumes from double shift, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, and all the best.
Thanks.
Thank you. The next question from the line of Bhavish, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, Bhavish.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you. Congratulations for the great set of numbers.
Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt,
Hello.
Mr. Bhavish. Your voice is breaking up.
Yes.
Mr. Bhavish, we still can't hear you.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Come into reception area, please.
Yeah, am I audible? Hello.
May we request you to come to the reception area? You're not audible. Could you please reconnect?
Yes, sir.
The next question from the line of Shivam from JHP Securities Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. So a couple of questions. One is our capacity utilization in Q2 was 63%. So could you just tell what the capacity utilization currently is?
No, it has gone up by, say, another 3-4%.
Okay, so about 67, 68%, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said that approximately 15% would be the additional the hostel facilities, right? On 15% of the capacity.
Sorry, can you come back on your...
So I just wanted to clarify that the hostel facility is on 15% of the capacity, right?
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So, sir, if I look at what you are guiding for next year at 80% utilization, 1,000 crore odd top line from garmenting, but when I look at your guidance on the margins, it seems that you are pretty conservative in just guiding at maintaining the margin. So, why this caution, sir? Why this conservative stance? Because
it is highly fluctuating, industry in the sense it involves international various countries competitions and the forex involved. And there are a lot of pressure, on and off, there will be a lot of pressure on the margins when compared to other countries' suppliers. And the duty, we are not yet duty-free when compared to Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and other countries. So there are various factors involved in this one. In addition to that, government, the refunds and other things are also, on and off changing. And even raw materials, there are so many raw materials involved in this one. So it is something, we cannot assure all the time, the very, very promising margins, So it is not conservative, it is a I would say the practical one.
Realistically achievable margins. Moreover, see, if you look at the price or the margin, material cost and my personal cost is almost like 80 to 83% of the whole costing system, and you have only room of say close to around 15% where the scaling will definitely help. So that is why the guidance is around 18 to 20%.
Okay. Okay. So, sir, just a couple of follow-ups on this. You spoke about competition, but when we had in the previous con calls, you have said that there is a consolidation that has happened in the industry where the number of suppliers have reduced. So, shouldn't that aid our margins moving ahead, considering...
No, that won't work like that. There's nothing to see. They can only give you enough feeding of orders, but it is no way connected with the pricing. They will always take the price of other competitors within India or outside India, and they will take this as a benchmark, and we literally have to work, differently to make sure that we are able to achieve this price.
Okay. Okay. Got your point.
I mean, given the acceptable price, and you will be getting opportunity of getting more orders. That's all. It's not that just because they want to give you the orders, we cannot dictate the prices at all.
Okay. Okay. And sir, in terms of passing on increase in cotton prices, sir, how does it work in our model with the customers on a broad basis? Is it a quarterly lag or a monthly lag?
Can you give the question more clarity?
Yeah. So what I was trying to ask is, with our customers, how do we pass on the increase in raw material costs, which would be cotton prices mostly? How do we pass it on? Is it passed on with a monthly lag or a quarterly lag?
No, it is, as I have mentioned many times, our orders are, project based, which means every order is a project. So when we quote today any order, so we will take the based on today's cotton prices and the yarn prices. And so as and when, even next week, if we quote something, if there is a change in the cotton or yarn price, we will quote based on that only. So it is all built in on and off. It is not like, with a forecast.
Okay, okay. And what would be the timeline for a project? So is it a 3-monthly project, 6 months?
3 months. 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months. Okay.
Yeah, and in some cases there will be a bigger one, 6 months program. That always we will make sure we protect the yarn.
Okay, 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 sir. And sir, coming to SP UK, what would be the order book currently that we are sitting on?
It should be close to around 4.5 million.
4.5 million pounds?
Yes.
Okay, so sir, if I get it correctly, it was approximately 7 million pounds last quarter. So is there a slowdown that we are seeing in terms of inflow?
Shipment.
In terms of what has been shipped of closely around 2.5 million, so the order book is closely around 4.5 million. So there is no big movement in terms of orders inflow, because the retailers are trying to push back the orders. Say, for example, if they are supposed to deliver it in the month of December, they are pushing it back into the month of January, so that the orders are getting pushed.
Okay, so I didn't get this. Could you just explain this? Why are they being pushed?
No, the last quarter it was 7 million was because of pushback of some of the orders of the previous quarter. they wanted to take it at a later stage. So that has added on and compiled to a 7 million pounds. But on a regular basis, it is always roughly around 4 to 5 million is the order book for UK.
Got it. And sir, one question on the facilities that we have. So first of all, sir, it's very good to know that the workforce workforce issues have started easing. So that's a good part. So just from a broader perspective in our business model, we have a multi-location facilities. Sir, do you think that once we achieve a particular scale, this could be a hindrance to grow at a faster clip? Because where I am coming from is that considering to scale up, you need a lot of labor availability, and that in turn depends on hostel facilities. So considering we have multi-location facilities and hostel cannot be made at every facility, do you think this can be a hindrance to our future growth, in terms of the speed at which we can clock a revenue growth or business growth?
No, this is, you should look at it as in a positive manner. See, because we have two types of factories. One is 100% commuted for a local workforce. And the another one is hostel and a mix of hostel and local. These are two kind of models we have. So this practice will continue, and in some of the local dependent factories will put up a small factory or a small hostel over there, so that those factory capacities can be additionally utilized by having an hostel in these local factories. This is one thing. And another one is we are also planning for putting up some factories maybe in 23-24, 100% only hostel factories. So there is a mix of local 100%, a mix of hostel and local, and 100% hostel. So it is a risk mitigation strategy.
Okay. And sir, one last question. Consider what the narrative was in the last quarter was that there was a lot of labor issues in terms of availability. Currently, we have mitigated that. So, sir, what steps were taken to mitigate this? Because it was quite quick. If you could just help us understand this.
You mean how we mitigated?
Yes, sir.
We have been working on this for the past so many years. So we tried so many models, and finally we have settled on what was the best model we felt. So I think we have been able to manage.
Okay, so could you elaborate on this model, please?
No, that cannot be discussed now. Maybe we can discuss later when we meet one-to-one.
Sure. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
The
next question is from the line of Abhilasha Satale from Dalal & Broacha. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my question. Sir, I have a question on our inventory days. Our inventory days have increased on year-on-year basis. As you explained that our overall sales cycle is in the range of 3 to 4 months, and we don't hold any major cotton or yarn inventory. Then why there is so much inventory on our books? This is my first question.
So, if you look at our order book year on year, the order book has also increased. So proportionately, there would be definitely increase in inventory also. And second is that 30th September, we are looking at inventory because of a couple of order pushback is happening. That also is forming part of the inventory pile-up. So definitely there is no big increase. I would say that there is a proportionate increase in terms of orders which are yet to sale.
Yeah.
You cannot look at inventory based on year because the orders are also increasing. You have to look at orders in hand. Based on orders in hand, my inventory level also will improve.
Okay. So, my question is like overall, like say if we see our inventory days are more than 300 days, wherein our sales cycle, as you mentioned, it is in the range of 3 to 4 months. So, would it be?
I'm not sure whether your calculation is right. There is no 300 days of inventory in the system.
No way.
And we have 270 crores of inventory, and my revenue is closely on 200 crores, 220 crores. How can you look at inventory on 300 days? There is no possibility that it is 300 days.
No, I am calculating on cost of goods. So I am calculating on raw material cost, your raw material cost.
See, you cannot look at raw material cost alone, because my wage cost is sitting below the item and other cost is sitting in other expenses. For example, what I do in terms of yarn manufacturing, my power cost is coming down in my books as other expenses in the power cost. So you cannot look at it in terms of value on COGS. That's not the right way.
Okay. So it is better to.
It's not a trading model kind of business where you can look at COGS on the inventory.
So there is a work in progress, no?
Okay. So going forward, like how do I expect? Because as our sales improve, will our this inventory days also will improve, or it will remain at the current level?
See, today we are backward integrated. We are from cottoning till the exports. So every stage, like yarn, cotton to yarn to knit, fabric to dyeing to printing to cutting to. So we go by stages. So every stage, it's purely like 120 days of inventory needs to be added on the WIP. If you look at the raw materials in terms of the yarn or the fabric or the cotton, it's purely not against the order. So you have to look at the inventory in bifurcation. Remove the raw material which is purely against the order, and if you look at the WIP which used to be sailed within 120 days time, and FG will be sailing immediately. So you have to bifurcate it and look at it.
See, for a garment, the yarn cost will be roughly around 20 to 30 rupees only, while the realization is about 150, 120 rupees. So, but when we start the yarn today, the shipment is expected in 120 days. So it is carrying the cost all the time.
Right. Okay, got it, sir. Thank you. Secondly, when I'm seeing one of the challenges, what you have said, that the manpower management is a challenge. So, and I see our employee costs have also been moving up, and which is required for the increasing sales. So, how do you see this inflation going up over a period of time? So, will it increase? How will be our employee strength will be going up over a period of time, and also the inflation in the manpower cost?
See, one is the raw material cost, another one is the personal cost. Personal cost is something which has to continuously increase by 5 to 7% year on year of the total in value terms. When it comes to raw materials, it's only because of the China issue, dyes, chemicals, and coal things are it's completely out of control. But at one stage, it should stabilize for sure. It cannot continue like this. One of the things put in place, our government is working on how to get the coal cheaper, and even the containers, other things they are doing. And the third one is the raw material cotton. Cotton again is something suddenly in the last 2 months it has shot up like anything historically never before, but now it started coming down again. So this is something the inflation is something which we cannot control it. It has to happen, but at the same time with rupee depreciation and the customers price increase, we are able to mitigate those things.
Okay. Okay. So, sir, actually, I want to know that how much employee strength we will add over, say, next 2 years to reach to that full utilization level.
So the additional increase about 2,000 employees. The next one.
Any incremental capacity utilization, like say if one mission is getting incremental, then we may have to have 2 employees for one mission addition. So if we are going to increase our capacities to close to 5,000, then we are going to add closely around 3,000 people additionally.
Okay. Okay, sure. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Forum Makin from Equity Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Congratulations on a good set of numbers. So I had a couple of questions. Sir, our debt has increased, but our interest costs have halved. So what is the reason for that?
So debt is increased because my working capital utilization has increased because the inventory also has gone up. But because there is a restatement on PCFC, which is a gain of 1.75 crores for the current quarter, is reducing my interest cost. That's why it's a notional number. 1.75 crores will get adjusted next quarter.
So what is the run rate we can expect in terms of the interest cost?
Interest cost for a year, I guess it should be close to around 13 to 15 crores.
Okay. Okay, so sir, and this PAT of 20 to 23 crores, is it like a sustainable quarterly run rate going forward?
So why it should not be? That's our, we are working towards that. So but for this, the COVID situation, the whole thing is turmoil, So I don't see there will be any change in this thing.
So sir, that means we are on track to touch 80 crores for the year.
Sorry, can you repeat?
So that means that for the full year we can touch 80 crores.
We are hoping for that, but you never know. How can I commit?
Okay, sir. And sir, just one last question: that what is our growth plan for the next 2 to 3 years? Like, how do we plan to grow? What is our strategy?
As I mentioned before in this call, that we have a plan of 20 to 25% growth in the next 2-3 years. So based on that, the things that you can work out on the numbers. This is only the guidance we are doing at the back end. All the things, the plans in terms of increased customer base and the capacity infrastructure and other things. So by all means, it should go by 20 to 25% the next 2-3 years.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Chirag Lodaya from ValueQuest. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the follow-up opportunity. Sir, my first question was on this. In your presentation, you mentioned how much garment produced and how much garment exported. And generally, what we have seen is whatever we produce, we are able to export. But this quarter, there is some difference. So is it that there was some delay in shipment and this spillover of revenue we'll see in Q3?
Yeah, because of the container issue, as Chairman indicated previously, we have certain portion of goods which were not able to be exported.
So is it fair to assume that around 30-35 crore revenue which could have been booked in this quarter now can be booked next quarter because of this issue?
Not 35 crores. It could be closely around 10 to 15 crores.
Oh, okay. Got it. And secondly, sir, just one clarification. You mentioned 1,000 crore revenue next year. That is for garment or that is for the overall company?
Now that generally we are working towards for the company as such.
See, basically we are doing only the garment exporting. Spinning, mostly captive only. Dyeing is also mostly captive. So it is understood, as a group, there is no big difference.
No, but your SP UK subsidiary, which is almost doing 100 odd crore, plus then retail division is around 50 crore. So it is 150 crore on 1,000 is a big number. So and hence I was just cross-checking it.
I think we are looking at 20% growth rate for garment division next year, and in total it could cross more than 1,000 crores for company as such.
Right. Because I mean 540 crore was FY21, and if I assume say 20% growth this year, then it is 650, and on that 20% comes to at 780 odd crore, and then there is a difference of shortfall of say 200 crore. So clarification is needed.
I think we are leaving it to your assumption or your expectation, but we are working towards achieving 1,000 crores of revenue.
Got it.
And
And
is there any 1,000 crores
in the garment division?
Garment division.
next year?
Next year, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And is there any debt repayment plan next year?
Sorry, debt?
The repayment.
So see, of the 187 crores of gross debt, only 35 crores of debt is term. The other portion is all working capital limits. So in case if there is any accumulation that are happening in terms of cash, we'll definitely go to reduce the working capital limits.
Got it. And sir, one basic question: how many customers do we have in government? What would be the contribution of the top 3 clients?
Now we are looking at 7 customers as of today.
Right. And top 3 contribution?
Top 3 contribution will be close to around 85%.
85%. Okay. And generally, sir, what is the time, to scale up a new customer to maybe achieve, say, like 50 to 100 crore revenues extract from a new customer? What is the typical, lead time for that?
Customer lead time. To scale up new customer business, it will take 2 seasons. That's one year, one complete year for experimenting each other.
So whatever client will be adding this year, we might see the ramp up happening in H2 of next year. Is that understanding correct?
Yes, correct.
Got it. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you.
Thank you. The last question is from the line of Bharat Seth from Quest Investment. Please go ahead.
Jiva and Balaji.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Mr. Sundarajan, currently we have around 15% of the, hostel facility of the total installed base of the sewing machine. Is that correct understanding?
Yeah.
And how much can we further increase from 15% to?
No, see, the factories which are available with the hostel is 50%. That is where we can increase the second shift.
Okay, and can we?
If we need to increase more, then we may have to put up more hostel where the factories are available.
So such how many places where we can increase this 50% in existing without expanding the new factory?
What's the question? Sorry, come again, please.
Currently, we have around 50% of hostel capacity we have of the existing base, correct?
Right, correct.
And same existing base, we have to add the hostel. How many hostel we can add and take this 50% to 70, 80 or where?
So we may add about, with the existing hostel capacities, we will be able to tweak some more into this one. So probably we may have to add 1 or 2 more hostels, not a big size, a medium size hostel and 1 small size hostel.
Okay. Now coming to this, how we are seeing the mix of the business, basic and fashion, because with basic we can generate more revenue, more utilization. So currently what is the business mix and now new customer we are acquiring, so that is how much will be the basic and how much will be the fashion?
So that, as we always say, that 50% fashion and 50% basic. That's the concept.
Okay.
So in order to make the factory running smooth.
Okay. And this year you said that we have added 1 customer in Middle East, correct?
Yes.
So that will change, can give the seasonality that we have, because normally in Christmas we have a higher sales. So some of the month we may see a much higher demand. So how that mix can really this will smoothen out our operation?
So like production, we don't have production in season-wise, but your request, I mean your question on whether it is the Gulf customer will bring in more volume when there is off season, I don't think will suit our kind of working.
Because we are into the fashion only mostly. So I don't think it will have any change in the customer mix.
Okay. And the one more customer which is in which region? USA or Europe?
In Europe.
Okay. So now still we have a larger concentration on the Europe only, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
But USA side also we have been working. So when we expect, more customer from USA?
So we may add one or two more new customers. We'll start exploring now. It may be fruitful, after 1 year time or so. Maybe 23, 24 we may start getting some business from the US customers.
Okay. And with this current addition of spindles, we'll be able to meet our 100% in-house requirement, except this fancy yarn that we keep on buying.
Yes, correct. But as the business grows, we may have to outsource some of the yarn from the market. So that's what we are just thinking.
Okay. And last question, Balaji, this working capital, what is the rate of interest that we pay? Because since it is available, we are export or it is meant for export. So are we getting it much cheaper rate?
Yeah. We have a concession of 3%, and moreover that we also take PCFC, which is in foreign currency, where it is more like LIBOR plus 85 bips. So net rate in terms of working capital will be close to around 3%.
Okay. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to the management for closing remarks.
Thank you. Dear all investors, as I always mention that please rest assured and have the confidence and trust in this organization. We always strive to perform better year on year, and we are working towards that. The whole team, behind me is working towards that. Thanks for your support, continued support all this crucial time. And henceforth we look for a better season and better business coming years. So we hope for the best. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Batliwala and Karani Securities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.